I get this question all the time. Simon, how do I get the most out of my people? Like they're a towel that you wring. It's a flawed question. The question is, how do I help create an environment in which my people can work at their natural best? And the answers will be entirely different. That's called good leadership. And a leader's responsibility is to create an environment in which people can work to their natural best, in which the people can trust each other, develop these trusting teams. Trusting teams is something very specific. Trusting teams means that someone can come to work and raise their hand and say, I made a mistake. I don't feel like I have adequate training to do the job you've asked me to do. I'm scared. I'm having problems at home and it's affecting my work. I need help. Without any fear of humiliation or retribution. If anything, they say these things with absolute confidence that people will rush in to help them. If we do not have trusting teams, what we do have is a group of people who show up to work every single day lying, hiding, and faking. They would never admit mistakes for fear that it would put them on some short list for redundancies the next time they come up or get in trouble. They're never going to tell you that you've promoted them and they don't know how to do their job for fear that they haven't earned it or they're not good enough or that they're going to lose your trust. They're never going to admit that they're having trouble at home and it's affecting their work for fear that if they were to take a day off, it would affect them. And they're certainly never going to say they need help. Well, guess what happens to an organization where the majority of people aren't admitting mistakes and aren't saying they need help? Eventually things start to break. They start to compound. We saw it happen. You remember the news a couple of years ago? United Airlines dragged a paying passenger off their aircraft with a broken nose, a concussion, and two broken teeth. I feel sorry for every member of that crew because 100% of them knew that that was the wrong thing to do and did not intervene because they feared getting in trouble more than they feared doing the right thing. They stood back and watched. This was not an anomaly. This did not happen overnight. This was not a one-time occurrence. I flew United Airlines years before, and I saw something play out in front of me that was a red flag. I was waiting to board the aircraft, and a scene played out in front of me where one of the passengers attempted to board the plane before their group number was called. High crimes and misdemeanors. And the gate agent yelled at him, "Step aside, sir. I haven't called your group yet. Please step aside and wait till I call your group," is how she talked to a paying customer. I spoke up. I said, "Why do you have to talk to us that way? Why can't you talk to us like we're human beings?" And she looked me in the eye and said, "Sir, if I don't follow the rules, I could get in trouble or lose my job." What she revealed to me is that she does not feel safe in her own organization. Her leaders do not trust her to do the job for which she's been trained to do. And guess who suffers? Customer and company. The reason we like flying Virgin or Southwest Airlines or any of these other airlines is not because they have some magical formula to hire the best people. It's because the people who work there feel safe, they feel like they have agency, they feel like they can make decisions in their own jobs, and they feel like their leaders trust them to do the job for which they've been trained to do. And guess who benefits? Customer and company. That's what creating a circle of safety is. That's what a trusting team is. That people feel like they have control and agency over their own jobs. I spoke at a large energy company. I did a workshop with some senior executives, a large energy company in the United States, and it was an unbelievably hot room they had us in. So I asked something seemingly very obvious, "Do you think we could turn up the air conditioning?" And we came back after lunch, and it was the afternoon, many hours since my request, and it was still unbelievably hot. And I said, "Were we able to turn up the air conditioning?" And they said, "Yes, we told the facilities people here they had to send the request to headquarters in Houston. We're waiting for Houston to get back to us before they can turn down the air conditioning." That's the air conditioning. Imagine how the rest of that organization works. That everyone there is afraid to make a decision. No one has any agency or control. And there's one thing we know about human beings, that our sense of enjoyment from our work does not come from work-life balance and how much yoga we do. Our sense of enjoyment at work and the sense of stress we have is all about our sense of control. That when we feel like we have control over our work, we actually enjoy it more. And control is taken away from us, where we fear making any kind of decision whatsoever, that's what increases stress dramatically amongst human beings.
And for organizations that lack that environmental trust, how do you help organizations turn that around?
It comes from the commitment to leadership. I mean, leaders determine the environment. Leaders determine how big and how porous the circle of safety is. Because without a circle of safety, what happens is we inherently concern ourselves with our own survival. Mm-hmm. Biologically, we become cynical, mm-hmm. we become selfish, and we become paranoid. That's what happens when we don't feel trust. When you don't trust somebody who that you live with, when you don't trust somebody in a relationship, you become paranoid that everything they're doing is trying to hurt you. Right. We become cynical of everything they say. We become self-interested. We start doing things to protect ourselves and building walls. Well, it's the exact same thing inside organizations. When we do not feel safe, we will do things to protect ourselves, which will ultimately damage and hurt the culture and the company.
One of the worst things about trusting teams is how you build them, because they're not traditional in the sense that we set a target, we're going to build our teams of trust, and we set out to build them. It's more of a practice. It's like getting into shape. It's like going to the gym. Yes, you want to get into shape. Unfortunately, you can't go to the gym for 9 hours and get into shape. It won't work. But if you commit yourself to go to the gym every single day for 20 minutes, 100% you'll get into shape. Simon, how long is it going to take me to get into shape? I don't know. And that's the problem. Some will respond quickly and some will respond slowly, and there is no formula, but we all 100% know that the process works. We 100% know that if you work out every single day for 20 minutes and eat healthily, 100% of us will get into shape. It's the same in leadership. There's no 5 magical things that I can tell you to do. There's no one-day course you can go take or one offsite you can have with your team, and all of a sudden they become trusting teams. Yes, those things are important, but they're part of a process that we trust in. That process is called leadership. Leadership is a lifestyle. And even when you achieve your goal, even when you get into shape, even when the trusting teams are built, unfortunately, you have to keep going to the gym for the rest of your life. It's a lifestyle. Leadership is a lifestyle. And the purpose of that lifestyle is to produce teams who take care of each other, who love each other, and feel valued and valuable in the organization where they work. That is your job.